that leads us into where I want to introduce the demos, okay? Those of you that have been with WebSphere Application Server for quite a while, anybody ever heard of an application that's probably been around for 10 years called DayTrader? Yeah, I got hands going up everywhere, right? DayTrader. Everybody loves DayTrader. Well, not loves DayTrader, but okay. So it's been around a long time. DayTrader is basically a web application, right? Java pages, servlets. Had some EJBs there, but then they came out with a DayTrader Lite that ran on Liberty Profile before it was, so comprehensive that it included a lot of the JEE features and functions. But at the end of the day, it was a web application, right? And it talked to a DB2 database. That's what that CloudTrader did, and it allowed whatever customer, Fred or whatever, to be able to interact with that, to be able to buy and sell, simulated buy and sell of stocks. That's basically what that application did. So my team got together not too long ago and said we need to really think about how we would continue the momentum and sell the story of innovation in the cloud, right? We talk about innovative apps and how fast we could do this and what are the possibilities. So we came up with this idea called CloudTrader Unleashed. Wasn't the first name we gave it. We called also the Art of the Possible. And the idea is we wanted to really integrate with a lot of different technologies to show what kinds of things can be done. So I don't want you to take the examples that I'm giving you and the demonstrations that I'm giving you as literal, but think about what we did and think about how you could really do some creative things in a similar fashion with an application that you may have. So it does encompass a lot of stuff, right? If you look into the things that we've extended this core application into, we're interacting with messaging systems, Node-RED apps, Internet of Things, WebRTC, cloud and databases, right? Twitter social interaction, right? We brought all this into extending what was basically a core application that was just a web app and a database. So here's how the scenarios play out. Like I said, I won't be able to demonstrate all of them, but here's how we thought about the story. And some of it's contrived, I'll give you that, but bear with me, okay? So we have a basic application. This is this DayTrader app. And we know through using migration tools and things of this nature, it's a Java application, runs on Liberty Profile. You run the little tools and it will tell you where that application would run across the IBM spectrum. It'll tell you if it runs on Liberty, whether it runs on WAS, whether it runs on Bluemix. Turns out the application will run on Bluemix. Now, not every application that you've written in your data center will run on Bluemix, right? It's just not going to happen. But this one did, and we decided for our perspective is that we would move it into the cloud. So we did. So we created a way to be able to deploy this application onto the cloud. There's a couple ways, and I'll show you how to do this, and I've picked one. We will deploy that application to the cloud into the Bluemix environment with the simple modified code, this code-based modification, but it's basically the same application with additional integration points. We introduced a caching component, and the caching component really caches, if you kind of recall the app, there's account profile information and user profile information, and we cache all that stuff. And in the demos, I'm not going to demo that piece of it today, but we do cache that information and have a way that you can use the dashboard to be able to look at what's cached, response times of the cache, and cache hit ratios and things of that nature. Moving forward is where Fred starts to get involved and start to see some of the benefits of the integration and the innovation that we provided, in that we introduced a component into the application whereby every trade that the guy makes, the customer makes, we send some message to a topic in using the MQ Lite service. And that subscribers of that MQ Lite service then is a Node.js application. It looks at that information and starts figuring out the trading volumes of the customer. And we've decided to say, well, Fred's been pretty active in his trade, so at some point, why don't we just give Fred some discounts on his next trade, right? So we're using that integration between Node.js app through MQ and integrating those components to be able to kind of flush that out. We did another one, another similar kind of demo, in that we use API management. So in the scenario of Fred, Fred kind of had some bad luck with his portfolio. His balance fell to unnatural low levels. Our CloudTrader app has detected that Fred's not doing so well. He might need some more money, and we reached out to a API management system actually running on SoftLayer, and that API has a bank loan API running, so it offers Fred some bank loans. Give him a chance to go borrow some money and maybe redeem himself in his trading activities. Okay.
Sure, it's about debt.
That's a good scenario, right? Let's put the guy in debt. So anyway, but there's an idea where we've taken something that never had any interaction. Now we can be, for example, partnering out to different banks. So banks can gain value from that. Your customers can gain value from that interaction, right? You can start seeing how new customers can be built and new relationships can be formed by reaching out to these third-party things. So the next scenario is, all right, Fred, he got the loan, he started doing some trades, and I guess things are kind of going okay, but he's got some questions about his portfolio, and he really needs to talk to an expert. So we introduced the concept of having the application be able to support being able to reach out to a stockbroker at CloudTrader Inc., right? And then he can have a live audio, video, in data in context kind of conversation with his broker, and start maybe getting him some advice from his broker. And this is using the WebRT capability inside the Liberty profile. The next thing is Fred is taking some advice from his broker, and then we also have the notion in the demonstration that maybe CloudTrader Inc. has a relationship with another company, might be a trusted stock analyst. And these stock analysts is on a daily or routine basis tweeting about information about stocks. So in our scenario, we capture the fact that Fred is buying certain kind of stocks, and our trusted stock advisor is tweeting about stocks that you've owned and have interest in. We make that correlation in the application, and then when that correlation occurs, we then start sending Fred a tweet that says, hey, our trusted stock advisor is talking about this stock. You might want to go and take a peek at what he's talking about. Maybe there's some advice out there for you. So we have that little thing. And then finally, the last scenario, Fred, our beloved customer, he's taking the advice of his broker. He's taking some advice of this trusted stock advisor, and he's making some good trades. He's pretty happy, and he goes out and starts having a good time, has a few beers, he's celebrating, his portfolio's looking pretty good. And then later in the day, or at some point in the near future, he decides he wants to go and buy or sell some additional stocks. And here in this scenario, we've integrated with basically a simulated breathalyzer test into our application, and have pretty much told Fred, we're not going to let you trade unless you can prove to us you're not intoxicated. So we have this little trading while intoxicated scenario that sometimes contrived, but come on, guys, it's the art of the possible. So that's the whole round trip of the scenarios. So I think that's the deck. So what I want to do now is I want to switch over to doing some demos, and I'll probably need a hand